when I first bought my home, for example, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet, and I renovated the whole entire thing, took walls out, and added more square footage, right? So during the process, I've learned so much about what renovation is all about, what's required from electrical to plumbing to all the things that goes in, the nuances that go into renovating a home. So from there, you learn what works, what doesn't work, what's the first process, what's the big cost, what's the big item that costs you the most. So those are some of the things that I've learned about. Welcome to Love, Listings, and Legacy, where love, community, and building a lasting impact meet. We are Mony and Sophaline, a husband and wife real estate team, sharing our perspectives on life, real estate, and philanthropy, our stories about resilience and service. Join us each week as we share our journey of life, business, and giving back, all while building a legacy for our family and community. This is Love, Listings, and Legacy, where hearts, homes, and philanthropy come together. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Love, Listings, and Legacy with Sophaline and
Mony.
Hi. And today we have a special treat for you. As you can see, we are not in our regular podcast studio. Today, Mony and I have the honor of being in our very first flip property, which Mony is going to share with all of you the ups and downs, trials and tribulations of doing our first property flip. And so before I get started in today's episode, I just want to first of all say thank you to all of you for following and liking our podcast. And if you really love what we have to say, please don't forget to share it with your sphere. So we're going to start off with kind of the flip and what inspired Mony. So Mony, why don't you go ahead and set the scene for us?
Yeah, I think it's important. Well, first of all, it's good to be here with all of you again. It's important to understand the background a little bit. So my name is Mony. I've been a realtor for 18 years. 14 years of that is full-time, and I bought and sold over 400 properties during the last 18 years. So I've had a little bit of experience doing this, and we're one of the top listing agent here in Livermore and in the Tri-Valley. So we really, really appreciate that opportunity to do so. But all that said, this home that we're sitting in is my first home, Sophie and I, first home that we bought to renovate and completely flipped it and then put it onto the market. And we got it done in literally 5 weeks for a home that needed everything. It's a 5-bedroom and 2-bath home, 2,300 square feet, including the new roof, all done with the city permit. So we got it done in 5 weeks, which is, I think, is a record. But it was a lot of fun along the way. I'm gonna share everything that I did, including, what the pick, how many times I went to Home Depot, what I shop at Amazon, and what kind of things that I had to in order to get this up and running and ready for market, which is on the market as of yesterday at 1.65. So the address is, by the way, 1546 Helsinki Way in Livermore, and you can take a look at it and then check it out for yourself, what we've done.
Awesome. So yeah, the purpose of this episode really is just for Mony to share the raw, real, and sometimes messy story of our very first property flip. Today we had the honor of hosting Brokers Tour, and it was just really wonderful to have everyone come in. I was telling everyone it feels like it's our firstborn child. Obviously those of you who follow us, Mony and I don't have any little ones. We don't have children, but this home definitely has been Mony's labor of love for the past 5 weeks. And so I wanted him to just very much open up, what went wrong, what went right. And of course, with any first time experience, I wanted Mony to really just share what he wishes he knew before diving in. So I'm going to just throw it over to Mony, and I wanted to just understand my husband's initial emotions because, you've been really invested in this. I've helped you here and there wherever you needed the support, but I feel like this was your baby. So emotions, are you excited, nervous? One word that describes your emotion right now.
Well, first of all, I want to do. I've always loved real estate, and that's why I've been doing it for so long. And I loved it. But I've always wanted to flip a home, but I didn't know how. But for the longest time, I used to host meetup group it's called Bay Area Real Estate Investors Group. I built that group up from nothing to 1,100 people on a platform, and we gave it away because that's not what I want to do. But I learned a lot during the process, like, from hard money, how hard money work, how private funding work, and all the hard money lenders out there, all the flippers out there, and what they had to do. And I learned some of the mistakes and what they learned. They went the journey they went through. But it's all fun and great when you're hearing that. But when you have to buy your own and then actually go through that journey yourself, it's been amazing. So from working with a hard money lender, saving up your own money. In this case, I saved up 10%. And so I could put, bought it for 1.2, put 10% down as $120,000. But also I learned about the hard money side of it, right? So I was just getting charged 1.25% point, which is actually pretty good, and a 10% interest rate for my first one. And for them to give me that, I think is a good deal, a fair deal for everybody. And borrow that money to do the work. So during the process, for example, I've learned about how hard money is done. So not only you put your down payment, they take out the points up front, and also the interest up front for 3 months. So that's a total, in this case, it's for $49,500. I'm like, wow. So instead of $120 with the closing costs, by the time you're done with acquiring the property, with paying the commission a little bit too, you're almost at $190,000. So it's really not $120, but almost like $190,000. So it's quite a bit of money. So you have to come up with that. So, but anyhow, so that's just acquiring the property. But I've always loved transferring homes. So this is a perfect opportunity to do so. And then I get to put my own spin, my own taste from, picking out the backsplash to picking out the hardware for the door handles, the appliances to the face of the fireplace, as you saw, and all the design to go into the bathroom, the quartz and the rocks that sets up the tiles, all the different things that goes into renovating each room. So I got a chance to do that and put my own creativity and spin into it. And voila, here we are. And 5 weeks later, we're on the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're hoping to get a good price for it.
No, it's definitely very exciting. And so if you had to sum up all of that in one word, what would that be?
Work, but worth it. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
It really is a lot of work, a lot to think about. And then if you really want to do it, not only you have to know all those things that I just described, but you have to be a great project manager. I've always loved project management. We worked on multiple projects at a time. So you have to have a lot of good knowledge, the ins and outs of renovation. When I first bought my home, for example, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. And we renovated the whole entire thing, took walls out and added more square footage, right? So during the process, I've learned so much about what renovation is all about, what's required from electrical to plumbing to all the things that goes in, the nuances that go into renovating a home. So from there, you learn what works, what doesn't work, what's the first process, what's the big item that costs you the most. So those are some of the things that I've learned about.
Great. Well, we're going to actually dive into all of that in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of help set the stage for some folks. And many times a lot of people, we watch shows like Selling Sunset and, like all these great real estate homes. And we're like, oh my God, that looks so cool. But in actuality, it's a different experience. So could you maybe share with us, generally speaking, like, how the deal was found? Was it like through your personal network, off market? Because a lot of times people ask like, hey, like if I'm looking to do something like this, like how would I even go about finding deals?
So in this case, the seller knew of me and that I was a realtor. And she wanted someone she knows and also someone she trusts. So we've been at it a long time. So we've done a lot of homes. We've bought and sold a lot of homes. So people know us here. And we stand for giving back. We stand for integrity. We stand for professionalism in how we do it. We stand for doing things the right way, not taking shortcuts. So when you have that kind of reputation, a lot of times people will hear about you and they want to hire you. Well, in fact, this home I bought, we were supposed to list it about a year ago, but it never worked out. There's a lot of different complications and family situation that didn't work out. And the seller was trying to fix up the house herself and so stay here. But when she started taking things apart, she realized that, oh my gosh, there's so much work to be done. There's actually more things that she discovered. She just completely overpowering and overwhelming to her. Right. She said, hey, why don't you buy this home from me? So that's how we made the deal happen. Yeah,
well, sometimes I feel like it just is an alignment of things that work out. And so I think with Mony, it sounds like his reputation and being a realtor here and having that brand and that trust and that credibility, I think really helps. And so as we move on and kind of understand a little bit more of like the reality of things, because oftentimes, like as you guys can see behind us, it's just gorgeous. I mean, obviously we're done with the renovations. It's beautifully staged. So many times when people come visit a home, it's usually the end product. It's always kind of like the results. And so can you share with us through the 5 weeks, were there any unexpected challenges that you had to overcome?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I had a thought that it was going to go over about 15 to 20%. It's actually gone a little higher than that as far as over budget.
When you go over, okay, budget.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm so used to doing, renovating 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? But this one turned out to be 5 bedrooms and 2 baths. It was quite a bit. And so, for example, when you buy a home, and in order to renovate with the city permit, you have to get everything updated, such as electrical.
Right.
Well, I'm usually so used to the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but this one is a bigger home. So first of all, you have to run the electrical, the all new electrical, to make sure that all the appliances and all to have their own switches, their own line to it. So that's that. Just running the electrical through the kitchen to the bar that we had, the 2 bathrooms, all that cost an extra $8,500. I wasn't anticipating.
Right,
so I thought my
unexpected,
guy's going to be able to do a lot of those things.
Sure.
But it's such a big job, and it's such a critical piece of a home that for me, it's important to do it right, to hire a licensed electrician to do it.
Absolutely.
My guys could do it, but what if they mess up? It's not licensed. It's not done by a licensed professional. Then it could be, this house could burn down. So it's really, really important. To me, the plumbing and electrical, you just can't substitute handyman or anything like that. You want it done correctly. It's really, really important.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that for those of you who are considering flipping a property or perhaps even renovating your own home, or perhaps if you're buying a fixer-upper to live in, definitely, as Mony mentioned, the electrical and the plumbing, because they are such significant costs for the home, but also present such a safety concern that could potentially turn out really bad. Those are things that you don't want to, skimp on. There's other areas, if you are on a tight budget, I feel like there's other areas that you could kind of like skimp on, but definitely electrical and plumbing, as Mony had just stated, those are 2 things that you definitely want to make sure is done correctly, and it's done by a licensed company or individual, because it is so important. And so with that said, 5 weeks is like incredibly fast. I mean, I think, when a lot of the, agents that came in during Broker's Tour, they were like, what? Like 5 weeks? That's crazy. So could you kind of share with us, like in terms of like the timeline, did it meet your expectations? Like, were there any contractor issues, but like anything that you felt could have been better?
Well, first of all, I expected to be done in 3 weeks. I didn't expect none of my vendors to go to sleep. And I want to get this thing done. But
yeah, well, they got to sleep.
But 5 weeks pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah.
We had a crew anywhere from 5 to 8 at times.
Yep.
They all specialize in different things, and this is part of my renovation team that have been with me to renovate many of the sellers' home that we prepare to put onto the market to get top dollar. That's how you do it. Our goal is that when we prepare a home, for every dollar you spend on the renovation side, that we want to get you to $3 to $4 back. That's our goal. That's a minimum goal for us to do the renovation. But 5 weeks is incredibly fast. I really don't know of anybody else that can do this in 5 weeks, and to get it done this much in such a short period of time. It's been incredible, and our team worked really, really hard, and I want to thank them for doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
For that.
Yeah, and I also too, I can attest to that, because Mony was here multiple times of the day. I mean, he was just here every single day, morning, lunchtime, afternoon, evening, late nights. He rolled up his sleeves and really got down and dirty. He would run to Home Depot, and if the local Home Depot was, didn't have the items that he needed, he drove to like the next city or even the next few cities. And so definitely I could see that it was my husband's labor of love, and that's why I'm really proud of the work that he's done. And thank you again to our crew and all of you, everybody from the just the team, everyone really rolled up their sleeves and worked hard. And it truly does take a team to make things like this happen. And so I guess for Mony, I think it sounds like he was pretty motivated. But I mean, was there anything else that kind of kept you going? And I know you had a lot of sleepless nights, thinking about it.
Yeah, I've got up quite a bit throughout the night. Sometimes I'm up at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just because I have all these little details running through my head. But that's normal for me. I'm so used to doing so many things at a time. So it's okay. But there are times when I have to be here at 6:30 or 7 o'clock meeting my vendors at Home Depot to pick out, different things, from paying for all the things that we had to buy, or just making sure that he gets my idea of what is it that I'm looking for, from tiles to the bathroom tiles for the floor where you step on, to the tiles of the design in the middle of the bathroom, or just all the little things that need to get done, and you just have to do what you got to do to get it done. And the other thing is, as an owner, to get the permit through the city under the ownership of the seller, the owner. You have to get your hands dirty. I paint the front door. I've swept. I bought them lunch or whatever we got to do. I'm here until 7 o'clock sometimes with some of our vendors to make sure that we have a punch list to get done. Those things need to get done. And, I remind them how much it costs when you borrow hard money, for example. Right. In this case, it's $300 a day.
Right.
For every day that this home is not on the market, it costs me $300. So I reminded them nicely that, hey, this is what we need to do in order to move this thing forward, to get this thing to completion.
Absolutely. And so, that is some great insights. And I think as we now kind of transition into, maybe be great for Mony to kind of share his key lessons learned. And I just want to say that, anytime that you do anything new, there's always a learning curve, from this renovation to even just Mony and I starting to launch and produce this podcast. There's things that come up, but I think at the end of the day, you have to stay committed, stay motivated, not let the little things frustrate you, because it's very easy to get bogged down with like the little frustrations that just come up. And so I think this experience for me has really been eye-opening, because this is my first time actually seeing a property flip from concept to broker's tour, from start to finish. Obviously, Mony and I have listed clients' homes, but they weren't, our homes. And now this one is actually like our own home that we've decided to go into. And so for me, it's been quite the journey. And I think
being in the passenger seat and really letting my husband kind of drive this project, I'm there when he needs help, especially like on the paperwork side or anything else like that. Little things that I can do. It allowed me to kind of help you to see this journey through. So I think for me, I want to say, thank you for this learning experience. It's been like an internship. He's actually had me come over to look at stuff too, and for me, like, I don't want to look at that. It looks so yucky. But especially he's like, yeah, like, come here, you got to see this. Like, we're gonna fix all this dry rot. I'm like, I don't know. I just want to see the house and it's all nice and pretty. So I just want to say thank you to my husband for that. But anyway, back to Mony. Do you have any like top three?
Actually, yeah, no, I have a few that I want to share that I think that realistically people need to think about before they start a project like this. Number one, evaluate the property realistically, meaning that take a look at it, walk through the house, look for major items such as windows. Have the windows been replaced? Is it is it dual pane window? Because windows is one of the big ticket cost items. The HVAC, how new is it? Like in this case, it's the furnace is 2017. The air condensing unit of the air conditioning unit is 2023, so it's newer. So that minimize your cost a little bit. Electrical, I knew I needed work, but I didn't know how much it was because I haven't done a major project of this size. So by the time you're done, in this case, between the pool and the house, you're looking at about $15,000. Okay. Plumbing, and thank goodness, I did check some of the plumbing, but I didn't get a chance because there's so much stuff going on in the house before I bought it, from broken windows just to everything's everywhere. I didn't know what kind of plumbing it had, but you have to budget for that as well. But this house for 2,300 square feet, you're probably looking at about $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 to redo the whole entire plumbing. But luckily, this house has copper. Like 99% of the house has copper, which is amazing, right? And then the roof. The roof, in this case, I saw that it was bald in several places. I knew that I was going to have to replace it. I budgeted out for about $30,000 for a 5-bedroom, 23 square foot hall. And it turned out that I got several bids. And one of the best bids was the same company that roofed my house recently, our personal home. And we were able to get a decent deal. They gave us a few $1,000s off and same type of warranty. And then we got it for a decent deal. But during the roofing process, we found out that the roof was not even. We had to buy 22 plyboards. That's over several $1,000s, like $2,000-$3,000 just to get that done. And then we found a bunch of drive-up in the middle of the roof as well. Those all had to be fixed and the new plywood put in, and then the new roof layer had to be put in. So instead of like $24,000 I was hoping to get, it turned out to be almost $28,000 for the roof. So, not too bad. But, take a look at, I would definitely walk room by room to look at all the things that need to be done. For example, in the kitchen, you look at, okay, are you going to put a new appliance in there or not? Like in this case, the LG appliance costs about $5,000. Plus, we wanted to add 2 wine refrigerators. One in this major island here. Used to be a 3 foot by 4. Now it's 5.
It's big.
5 foot long. 10 feet long and then 5 foot in depth. So it's 5 by 10 feet. Island is huge. I think this is a selling point of this house as well, by the way. And it's worth it to do that and do it right. And with a bunch of cabinets with a wine refrigerator to go with it. So in this case, with all the LG appliances, with a nice refrigerator, stove, dishwasher, microwave, and a 2 wine refrigerator, costing me about $6,500. So those are like some of the things that you need to think about. Are you going to include a refrigerator? Your refrigerator, you can get it for about a nice one, $25,000 to $3,000 to $3,500. It just depends what model, make, and brand that you want to go after. But something, you don't want to go cheap because people are going to go, oh, what about the rest of the house? You want to go mid-range. I think that people just want something nice. It doesn't have to be incredibly nice unless it's one of those luxury homes, which this one is a tract home. So you want to put decent stuff in here, and people are willing to pay you back for it. So that's one of the things we look at.
No, that's great.
But definitely walk room by room and itemize what needs to be done, and that's what I did. And when I did that, I saw a cost of about $120,000, including the roof. But it turned out that it's about $170,000, $180,000. So it cost me a little bit extra. But a bunch of things that I had to discover along the way. For example, the pool. I didn't know the house has a pool, but there's murky water. But I didn't know why there was a murky water. But I found out the filter and the pump was not working. So I had to replace that. And then once I replaced that, I had to do all updated electrical as well. So that in itself costs about $7,500 to do because of the electrical and the pool equipment. That costs you a little bit more money to do so. And it will also paint the deck and then also reseal all the adhesive glue around the pool deck as well. So that's $20 per foot. So it costs a little bit. So total about $7,500 extra that I didn't plan on. I thought it was going to be like $1,500, maybe $2,000. So it's an extra $5,000 plus that I wasn't aware of. So those are some of the things. And then, you got to make sure you budget for the material. For example, I'm so used to doing up like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $6,000, $7,000. But the cabinet and all the quartz, because this house is pretty incredibly big, and with the bar as well, it cost me about $17,000. Cabinets and the quartz. So it's actually a pretty good deal, but still, it would have cost less if it was a small home. This is a pretty good size home,
yes,
especially with this quartz here. So these are something to think about. And on the hard money side, when you borrow the money, you gotta think about the points they're going to charge you, the interest they're going to charge you, and all the city permits that go with it, right? The points, for example, at 1.25%, at 1.2, at $1,080,000, that's, and then plus the 3 months interest, it turned out to be $49,500. I have to pay that upfront with my 10% down. So that's a lot of money. So that's what, they want to make sure the company that's giving you the money, they want to make sure they're going to get it.
It's worth it. Make sure that it's worth it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, those are kind of things you got to think about. But if you want to start, make sure you have at least 10% plus a little bit extra because things will come up. And then you can borrow the rest of the money to do it. So that's what I did.
Well, thank you so much. Those are some great key takeaways from Mony. I think as all of you who may be interested in getting into this yourself, that's definitely, that's like as raw as it gets. I mean, that literally was like what we endured. Definitely the one thing that I can surmise from that is knowing your numbers and knowing your margins. And so sometimes it doesn't always look like what it seems, right? So you just gotta know your numbers. And then I think also too, it sounds like Mony has the right team, building the team, staying flexible, knowing your vendors, knowing how they work. And then I think also what I really appreciated was that, he got their buy-in to also understand that, hey, every day that this house is not, on the market, it's $300. And so I think getting them to understand and buy in, I think really helped as well.
And then also bribe them and surprise them with food so they could work them up.
Yeah, definitely. Lunches, food. I mean, these guys work so incredibly hard. It was like really nothing for us to just say thank you and appreciate them with lunch and dinner. I think it's a very small token.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention to you, you asked me about what surprises me. Well, one of the biggest costs that surprised me, of course, a lot of times when you take a home apart and you have to update everything, sometimes the things were done back in the days may not be up to code now, so you have to update everything. For example, in this case, the two surprise, I knew there was going to be dry rods underneath both of the bathroom, but we literally had to almost, tear out the whole entire subfloor of both bathrooms. And because there's so much dry rot underneath there, we have to fix everything, including the 2x4s and reframing the bathroom. For example, we had to take the wall where they had like 18 inches of drywall that came down and make the room look so small. But once we removed those and took it to the ceiling, made the ceiling a lot higher, it made the room so much bigger. But because you did that, you also have to buy more quartz. And you have to buy the custom glass door for your shower has to be bigger too, right? Because you did that.
Everything costs a little bit more.
Everything costs a little bit more, but it all works out. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line in this case, even though we have to rebuild that, you have to make it really, really nice. Because this home is only 2 bathrooms, right? The hallway is going to be shared, so you want to make it really, really nice. The primary bathroom, the master bathroom, for example, that's where people spend most of their time. So if that's the case, you want to make it really, really nice. So we bought a nice tub in there. We made a beautiful shower in there. We added 4 can lights in the bathroom. It's just all the hardware and fixture and all the quartz surrounding the shower door and all that.
Yeah,
the shower, it's gorgeous. So I'm not just saying because I did it or this is my vision to get it done and the guys that did all the hard work, but it's beautiful. And I'm hoping Sophie will include some of those videos to share with you what we've done as well. And in fact, we have the before, during, and after photos as well. So we have that. We'll hope be able to share that with you as well.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, wow. Okay, so that was a lot. Do you have any advice for first-time flippers or real estate investors besides what you've already shared?
Yeah, really, don't just start right away and, go to a few meetup meetings if you have to on investors flip, okay? And meetup groups, there's a bunch of them out there. And then don't trust people right away. Because someone says, I could do this, blah, 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 and they want you to get involved and they take your money, they may run with it, okay? Really vet people out. In this industry or any industry when it involves a lot of money, people will take your money and run. So be really, really careful, especially as a former police officer. I don't trust everybody. I just don't. Trust but verify. Like, hey, take a look at the project. What have they done? How did they do it? So really, really know your source and not just, because, you just met this person, you invest a bunch of money. You really need to do your homework before you do that. People will steal your money, will take your money in a hurry. So please be careful with that.
Yeah, it sounds like definitely do your due diligence because it is such a significant investment. It's not something that you could take lightly, right? It is a lot of money. It is a lot of risk as well. But as Mony said, trust but verify, do your due diligence and learn as much as you can So thank you.
The
That's
more
great.
information you have, the better. If you have to meet some of these flippers on a one-on-one basis and just take a bunch of notes, what you learn from them, I think that's going to be very, very helpful. But, to go and not just talk to them, but go look at their project, what they've done. What is, what's joint venture look like? When you partner with somebody, are you a partner, or is it just putting in money and get the interest out of it? So there's a lot of little nuances to learn, not just throw money at it and then just trying to figure it out. You can't do that. You have to do your homework. You got to know a little bit about what you're doing before you get there. I couldn't have done what I've done today, or we couldn't have done what we've done today without buying and selling 400 plus homes. We've been very experienced at it. We literally renovate a lot of homes for the seller to get top dollar. And again, the goal is for every dollar you spent, we want to get you $3 to $4 back. But now, of all the things I've learned, all the collection of it finally came together to this first first listing here for us. That's incredible. I can't wait to do more. It's actually a lot of fun transforming homes.
Oh no, it sounds like he's hooked. I think just adding on to what Mony said, I think as licensed realtors ourselves, it's been very fulfilling for me, if I may say, that I've loved seeing the final product of our clients' homes, especially when we've helped them to get it ready, prepare it for the market, prepare it for its next, owners to enjoy. But I think this one really feels differently. And I think for me, it truly is it's like your firstborn child, and you're ready to unveil it to the world. And it's like, nobody better say my child is ugly, like all of us, we all think our child is beautiful. And we do really think this home is beautiful because it was very well thought out, very planned. Mony definitely put his heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, even just for me coming in and just scraping off the little specks of paint that splattered, or maybe just like Swiffering the floor, wiping down the counters. You take a lot more pride when it is your home. And that's why today, when it was time to film an episode, I'm like, let's go and do it here, because we want to be able to share it with all of you. And so
hold on real quick. Like for me, I got the chance to paint the front door. It was all blue, but I added like the white stripes in the front there.
That
It makes
was
it a lot better. And then I knew that the house cleaning was coming, so I had to get a razor blade because there's a bunch of like stuccos and stuff stuck to the window. So I'm scraping all these ahead of time because to save them time, because that takes a lot of work, right? All the little things, and then have a checkoff list at the end. Walk through with the renovation team, right, and go, okay, these are the things. Well, first of all, I got the home inspector to come out, and he shared with a bunch of things that wasn't done properly. So with him doing that, I was able to go back with my renovation team, like, hey, these are the punch lists that need to be done. In fact, he was just here. There's like 5 items left that need to be done. So I'm gonna have to go through that with my renovation team to make sure all these things gets done, even now.
So no, this is all great information, and we can go on forever. But I wanted to kind of just bring it full circle and talk about kind of like how this first flip is going to impact future projects. And I think from the likes of it sounds like my husband's really interested in the next one already. And so, I think for us as realtors, one of the joys that I find is that we are bringing this beautiful home to another family in the community who will love it, who will gain home ownership, who will build generational wealth, who will have the joy of raising their children in this beautiful home. And as buyers are looking to buy homes, we understand what they want, and what they want is just a turnkey home that they could just come in. There's nothing left to do. Just move your furniture in, move your family in, hang those pictures on the wall. And so I think for me, I'm just most excited for a family to come in and really create beautiful memories in this home. So Mony, for you, anything that you would like to share just about just kind of the legacy in action as we're on this?
Yeah, in this case, it's kind of cool was that, during the whole 5 weeks that since we acquired this property, my son was here, Ryan, and our future daughter-in-law was here, been to the house. My mother-in-law was here. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and
our whole family came by.
Our nieces have been here. In fact, yesterday, talking about creating memories already, right? We were playing hide and seek in here with him yesterday for a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that is an shining example of what creating memory is all about. And there's so much open space, such an open floor plan. Again, 1546 Helsinki Way in Livermore, Helsinki. Take a look at it. Look at the floor plan, how open it is. And with him, Leon, running around in the house, playing hide and seek with us, with you and me.
Yeah.
That's already memory. Walk by the pool, look at the pool, and the pool sprayed him a little bit from the pool sweep, right? So
Mom loves the new fridge
things
too.
like that,
Yeah.
And then we could see that it's going to get passed on to the next buyer.
Absolutely.
And we did it. Everything that I've ever done, I want to be the best, most professional. I want to be the most professional at it, right? But also bring in a beautiful product that I'm proud to share with someone else. And I think this home states that. It says that we've done that with this home. So.
Oh, what a beautiful wrap up. Well, yeah, everyone. I guess for me, I just want to say that, these are just little tidbits of advice from our experience. Obviously, so many people out there have experience flipping homes. But we, by all means, do not present ourselves as like an expert at it or anything like that. But I thought it was just really fun to, invite you all in here and see right behind us what we've done. And then also for Mony, in his own words, to share with you the journey, what he's learned, what he's excited about, and hopefully kind of to stir your curiosity and your interest in like, maybe this is something I want to learn more about. And so with that said, I'm going to let my husband just say some final words before we wrap this up.
Well, thank you for joining us. And if you obviously, how to get a hold of us, like our page, like our posts, like our production, like all the things that we do, and continue to follow us and support us. But if you have any questions, you can always find me on the internet, reach out, ask any question. More than happy to answer any questions you have. And this is just truly been a joy and a love. Growing up in the refugee camps or in the war, and then 5 years in refugee camps, we never had a home until we came to the United States of America. I bought my first home at 25 years old. It's been such a joy to me. I think of real estate and having your own home is the greatest thing since sliced bread, because you could paint whatever color you want. If you have a fixed rate on it, no one could jack up your rent and all these other things. But it's just so nice to have a home. And I love transforming a home and giving to someone else to enjoy. So that's what I get to do. That's and I also get to activate my creativity. It's what I just love it. And we thank you for all of your support and all the things that we do. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. And that wraps up another episode of Love, Listings, and Legacy with Sophaline and
Mony.
And for those of you who have not yet clicked like or subscribe, please do so. We hope to bring you lots more valuable information. Hope that we can inspire you in some little way and really just openly share with you a little bit about ourselves. So thank you all so much. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Love, Listings, and Legacy this week. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Join us next time as we continue to navigate the path from adversity to success, one property and one purpose-driven decision at a time. Thanks for listening.